Indians.
Yeah, no, sure, no.
A bit extended. ठीक है ठीक है Anubhav, I'll start with my introduction first and then you can start with you. So been associated with Opsy for almost 5 years now and me working as a DevOps architect over here, helping multiple clients in leading their DevOps transformation, be it across monoliths or microservices. Do a bit of open source contribution as well and love taking knowledge sharing sessions and public workshops too. So yeah, that's a bit about me. We can start with you.
Yeah,
Your current organization. We'll start with your working on and overall experience you hold.
yes, yes. Hi, Deepak. Myself, Anubhav. Currently, I'm working with Philips over a 3.8 year of experience. Basically, I'm in experience in like automating and maintaining these pipelines, improving the deployment, and as well as we are using Kubernetes operations we have to do and cloud infrastructure. So, if you come to my like day-to-day life activity, so first activity is like monitoring. So we monitor the pod health, infrastructure usage, and services uptime using Prometheus, Grafana, EFK stacks, Jigger for tracing. Okay, and it's come to like the CI/CD pipeline. So we are using basically Jenkins. So we have to create and maintain the multiple Jenkins pipeline. We are supporting this artifact promotion. We integrate this Jenkins with like SonarQube, Trivi, for like image vulnerability scanning, and our pipeline is like parameterized. So we handle this DFQ and pod promotion. We are using this artifact nexus, and for Kubernetes size we are using this EKS cluster. So basically we are deploying basically different microservices in this AWS EKS. So we have to write and maintain a Kubernetes manifest file like deployment, services, ingress, config map, secrets, and like incidents. So we are basically using this service max and as well as like Jira. So we have to respond this incident ticket. We have to update our Jira ticket as well. And for automation, we are using this Ansible. So we have to load this Ansible roles, different roles we have to do. And for cloud we are using basically AWS. So we are working like provisioning and managing AWS services like EKS cluster, EC2, S3, RDS, IAM role. And also you have to load this Terraform scripts for automating this EKS cluster setup, and also like VPC configuration.
Cool, Anubhav. Let's start from the basic itself. So you mentioned about that you have been working across maintaining and operating EKS clusters, right? And using IAC Terraform to upgrade the rollouts of those latest Kubernetes releases. Let's take a scenario that you have a client coming to you to set up, or let's say to lead a migration from LDC based setup to a completely cloud based adoption, and they have set few set of microservices, few set of, let's say, legacy based applications as well, and they want to completely set it up onto the cloud platform. How would you design the complete approach, considering they have 30 set of services in total, and they want three different environments: dev, QA, and production? So how would you design a complete blueprint, or what would be your best practices in terms of, let's say, cloud optimization, cost optimization, or in terms of scaling? What How would you design that completely?
Okay, so basically they want like all full the setups. So
Yeah, yeah,
first, okay, my approach would be like this way. First, for all this side, like availability side, security side, and like uh, mm, high availability side, security side, and like logging also. So for that, I will set up first. I'll set up like means what they are basically working means needs. Okay, means which cloud they are want. So they are using this AWS cloud or what. So first I will check on that, then I will set up my EKS cluster. So for like I will set up like one for like production, and like and we also share these things with dev and QA environment, or like different things. And then I will set up this networking sites, like basically this VPC. Okay, I will set up this VPC. So in VPC side I will set up in I'll do this private and public subnets. Okay, and also I will use this NAT gateway, or like yeah,
Sorry to interrupt.
hello.
Sorry to interrupt. Also, can you share your screen once? Let's say if I want something to be draw or designed, or let's say if I want to ask you something in terms of Terraform or models, we can do it right away. Cool. You can open Notepad or the Studio, Visual Studio Code, any ID which you have. And also, if you can open on the browser Excali draw.io, excalidraw.com. If you have you used it before?
No.
Excali, I have shared the link in the Teams itself. Cool. No, yeah, you can start.
Mm.
So you were in middle of setting up network for environments. Yeah. Go ahead. No, no need of drawing right now. I'll ask you when to draw or
Okay.
what I'll record. Yeah.
So for like we set up this VPC basically. So in that VPC, I'll set up the CIDR range, and as well as like I have to set up like means different subnet like public subnets, private subnet with this across availability zone, and we can also use this NAT gateway, and if you need load balancer, so I will set up like application load balancer or network load balancer. Okay, these things I will do. Then means for networking one more thing, so I can use it.
Scenario in which scenario you will prefer using an application load balancer or either besides NLB or vice versa?
Basically application load balancer basically for HTTP and HTTPS requests, network TCP and UDP.
Uh-huh.
Then means if
Generally,
Hmm.
generally on what your applications work upon, or let's say I have a set of microservices running inside an EKS cluster, right? So and top of it, if I am opting with an Nginx ingress or as Nginx as a reverse proxy, right? So in that case, what would you prefer? Opting for NLB based setup or an ALB based setup, or both can work. So
basically
eventually, right?
basically we are
In
using this
Kubernetes
application load balancer basically.
application load balancer for.
Like if you are like reverse proxy of this ingress and all those things, so basically application load balancer we would prefer like HTTP and HTTPS requests.
Mhm. And what case if you will use NLB as direct as a load balancer of yours?
DNLB basically you are not using currently.
Acha.
Yeah. So then next would be like means I have to design like ingress like AWS elastic load balancer ingress controller, and if for like upgrade and all those purposes we can use this Argo rollouts for like like canary deployment, or if you wanted to do like blue green deployment also you can do that. And for auto scaling purpose means hello.
When you talk about canary deployment, right? How what canary deployment says, or how do you decide that okay, this kind of stage rollout is perfect to be rolled out for my, let's say, every other customer, right? Or on what criteria do you decide that your canary stages are getting passed? What criteria do you define generally?
Criteria basically see canary deployment basically one more thing, like if you have like different versions, so you can route this traffic like 10% traffic would be like should be like version 2 like new version, and 90% traffic should go to our like old version. And then certain point of time like means what type of like 1 day or like 12 hours you again routed more traffic like 50% like new version 2 and 50% version 1. So like that basically in our organization we are not following this canary deployment, we are basically follow this blue green deployments. But I know about this canary deployment, these things means we have two kind of things. I read myself, like we can use Argo rollouts as well like HTO. uh, for this canary deployment. But Argo rollout was
Okay.
yeah more reliable because there we can check via like this UI based. You can see your traffic is routing properly.
No,
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 definitely.
definitely.
Look,
That
that
is
is somewhere
somewhere
our
our
network
network
policies, or
policies, or
let's
let's
say
say
our
our
domain
domain
providers
providers
have
have
that
that
capability to
capability to
provide
provide
you
you
a
a
weightage
weightage
traffic
traffic
shift
shift
for
for
multiple
multiple
endpoints of
endpoints
your
of your
applications,
application,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Where you
Where
can
you can
achieve
achieve
that
that
canary or
canary or
weighted
weighted
based
based
traffic
traffic
shift.
shift.
But
But
I'm
I'm
asking
asking
about
about
criteria. Let's
criteria.
say
Let's say
you
you
mentioned
mentioned
that
that
in
in
that
that
one day
one day
of
of
Oh yeah.
one
one
day or
day
a
or a
12
12
period
period
of
of
time,
time,
suppose
suppose
that we
that we
decide,
decide,
okay,
okay,
let's say
let's say
now we
now we
can
can
move
move
from
from
10% to
10% to
50%,
50%,
right?
right?
So
So
what
what
happens
happens
in
in
that
that
12
12
hours, or
hours, or
that,
that
let's
let's
say,
say
in
in
one day
one day
of
of
effort,
effort,
where
where
your
your
team or
team or
you
you
can
can
finalize,
finalize,
okay, we
okay,
are
we are
good to
good to
go
go
from
from
10% to
10% to
50%
50%
for a
for a
newer
newer
artifact?
artifact.
Or
Or
let's
let's
say,
say,
what
what
kind
kind
of
of
scenarios or
scenarios or
conditions you
conditions you
want
want
to
to
get
get
applied in
applied in
your
your
deployment
deployment
pipeline,
pipeline,
which
which
would
would
basically
basically
give you a
give you a
go
go
ahead
ahead
to
to
proceed with
proceed
the
with the
rest of
rest of
the
the
stage or
stage or
rest of
rest
the
of the
percentage
percentage
of
of
that
that
newer
newer
artifact?
artifact.
Criteria. Can you come again? Like miss, I'm like a little bit confused about it. Can you come again?
Definitely,
Definitely,
definitely.
definitely,
Basically,
basically,
there
there
would be
would be
some
some
kind of
kind of
testing
testing
or
or
scenarios which
scenarios
would
which
be
would be
getting
getting
performed,
performed,
which would
which
give
would
you
give
a
you a
validation,
validation,
right?
right?
A
A
round of
round of
validation.
validation.
Okay,
Okay,
that
that
we are
we are
good
good
with
with
this
this
newer
newer
artifact
artifact
and we
and we
can
can
now
now
shift
shift
that
that
10% of
10% of
traffic
traffic
to
to
50% of
50% of
traffic,
traffic,
right?
right?
Newer
Yes or
Yes
no?
or
version.
no?
Yeah, newer version. Yeah.
Right?
Right?
It
It
won't
won't
be
be
just a
just a
blindly
blindly
move
move
that,
that,
okay,
okay,
today I
today I
am
am
deploying
deploying
10%,
10%,
but I
but I
am
am
right
right
now
now
I'm
I'm
serving
serving
10% of
10% of
traffic
traffic
from my
from my
version
version
V2,
V2,
right?
right?
And
And
tomorrow,
tomorrow,
let's
let's
say in
say in
night,
night,
we'll
we'll
go with
go with
50%.
50%.
There
There
would be
would be
some
some
round of
round of
validations,
validations,
right?
right?
Going on.
Going on.
So,
So
what
what
kind of
kind of
those
those
validations
validations
are?
are?
Or
Or
what
what
do
do
you
you
recommend,
recommend,
let's
let's
say,
say,
an
an
operation
operation
team
team
to
to
perform
perform
for
for
making
making
that
that
validation or
validation or
making
making
that
that
check
check
that
that
we
we
are in
are
a
in a
good
good
shape
shape
to
to
move our
move our
traffic
traffic
from
from
10% to 50% of
50% of
traffic?
traffic?
I'm not sure about it, but we can check this kind of parameters like our API health check. Like say it's confirmed, like it's correctly our API is properly working, or like application metrics. So which means which we instrument in our application, that metrics, like we monitor this latency and all by Jaeger. So we are using this Jaeger. So there you can see the latency is faster than previous, or like for logging things also you can check by like EFK stack if we are using, so we don't have any kind of error logs or something.
Mhm.
Means this comes to my mind, like we can monitor these things.
Sure.
Sure.
And
And
when you
when you
talk
talk
about
about
your
your
probes or
probes
your
or your
health
health
checks,
checks,
right,
right,
of your
of your
APIs,
APIs,
what
what
kind of
kind of
health
health
checks
checks
or
or
health
health
probes?
probes?
Let's
Let's
say in
say in
Kubernetes
Kubernetes
itself,
itself,
you
you
have a
have a
concept of
concept of
your
your
health
health
probes,
probes,
right?
right?
Using
Using
liveness or
liveness or
readiness
readiness
probes.
probes.
So,
So
what
what
kind of
kind of
probes
probes
does you
does you
define in
define
your
in your
application
application
to
to
pass
pass
them
them
and
and
make
make
your
your
application
application
ready to
ready to
serve the
serve the
traffic?
traffic?
What
What
kind
kind
of
of
probes do
probes
you
do you
create?
create?
Proofs, yeah, so mm, mm,
Basically, you
Basically, you
have your
have your
health
health
checks, right?
checks, right?
Liveness,
Liveness,
yes,
readiness
readiness
probes,
readiness
probes,
and
right?
right?
props, yeah.
What
What
does
does
readiness
readiness
probe
probe
says?
says?
Readiness post basically see means it will check like your in readiness probe we give like a port number and all those things, like means if initial delay if it's like 10 seconds, so like it will be like if it's failed the threshold, so it will be like again check these things, so this is by our readiness probes. And liveness
No, no,
probes.
definitely.
Hmm.
No, no,
No, no,
you are
you are
definitely
definitely
defining
defying
those
those
all
all
those
those
key
key
parameters
parameters
which are
which are
basically
basically
filled
filled
under
under
the
the
object of
object of
readiness
readiness
probe.
probe.
But what
But
is
what
the
is the
purpose
purpose
behind
behind
using
using
readiness
readiness
probe, or
probe, or
what is
what
the
is the
aspect of
aspect of
that?
that?
So readiness pros basically see means it decide like our pod is ready to start the receive the traffic, is checked by this readiness probes. And live
Right
Right
now,
now,
that
that
you are
you are
clear
clear
that
that
okay,
okay,
my
my
readiness
readiness
probe
probe
defines me
defines me
that
that
if my
if my
pod is
pod is
ready
ready
to
to
serve the
serve the
traffic or
traffic or
not,
not,
right?
right?
So now think that what type of health check will you provide in the readiness section, which would tell you that okay, my application is ready to serve the traffic, or what kind of probe would you create for readiness probe?
Mm, basically provide he'll say like port and all, like this port and this yeah, I'm not sure about it. Like basically provide like a port number and like these parameters, these things.
Mm-hmm. ठीक है. Coming back to that infrastructure setup, yeah, you were telling me that you'll create VPC, you'll create subnets. Then you mentioned about creating an EKS cluster, right? So I'll come back to my question once again, right? So we had a setup that we have total 30 set of services, right? We have few were microservices and few were legacy based applications, right? So once again, that how would you design that, right? So you mentioned that you had a capacity planning, you discussed about that, okay, I'll be provisioning some networks, right?
Yeah. So and also after that you will do this auto scaling things, like means this EKS cluster have this auto means cluster auto scaler, so that we can use like and also internally you can also write this HPA means horizontal pod auto scaling, this kind of things. And for storage purpose we can use this RDS. Okay, so RDS like with like multiple availability zone. Okay, and for like also you can use this S3 for like any kind of object if you wanted to store, so you can use this S3 buckets.
Okay,
Okay,
ठीक है.
okay.
In my workload I have both kinds of workload available, stateless and stateful, right? So and that is running under my Kubernetes cluster itself. So
Yeah, sorry, I see electricity gone.
no issues, no issues. So firstly, what do you differ between stateful and stateless, and how do we run that across our Kubernetes environment? And as you mentioned, right, and first question is this. Second is when you talked about HPA, right? So what I have is I have a scenario where where definitely what you define your HP on the basis of scaling policies, right, or on the basis of thresholds of your resources which are getting consumed while running the application, either CPU or a memory, right? But let's say in my one application pod I have two containers running. One container is of my main service, and one is another sidecar container which is running, right? Either it could be for logging purpose or for a caching purpose, right? Now what I see is that sometimes my HPA gets triggered out, right? And due to which definitely my pod count is increasing, whatever min and max number which you have defined. And eventually, to schedule that workload, definitely your workload is gonna increase under that, beneath that, right? But what I am seeing is that my main service traffic or resources are not getting spiked up, right? It is due to sidecar container because of which the complete pod threshold exceeds the defined policy under the HPA, and because of it, the HPA gets triggered. So how would you manage that, or how would you identify that if my main service is basically increasing the resources, and at that only moment my HPA should get triggered?
Mm, can you check this like pod density by like kubectl we can check the pod density means of the sidecar container, means if it's running as a pod, so you can check and you can like do this pod density.
Pod density?
Means it's basically this for sidecar container it's not scaling up the like new workloads, right? This is the issue.
नहीं नहीं my sidecar is becoming the main cause of triggering the HPA.
Okay.
But generally, what we want is that HPA should get triggered when my main service, when my main application container is consuming more resources, right? it is getting more traffic, then in that case, I want more replicas to run for my main application, right? Yes or no?
Yes, yes, yes.
Right? But what I see is, what I observe, let's say either from your monitoring tool or let's say whatsoever, you see that my main application container is not getting so much of traffic, or let's say not because of that the resources are getting high. My sidecar container is the major factor in increasing the resources of that complete pod. And because of that, my HP is getting triggered again and again. But I want to stop that, right? So in that case, how would you mitigate this issue or mitigate this error? So that only when my main application containers resources are getting spiked up, then only my HP gets triggered.
Mm, okay, so for this, we can do this like mm, is for that we have to do something like our horizontal spot auto scaling something. Uh, mm, we can change our HPA accordingly. It will help like uh, means we can set up this HPA as a way that it will like content like means container level matrix like HPA matrix. Means we have to configure this HPA in the like that way, so it will like means container level things we have to do, or like we have to use this like custom application matrix, like stop these things.
And how would you do that?
uh, for that means we have to change this in our HPA, uh, mm, we have different parameters over there, but I'm not able to recall now. But some HPA configuration we have to do for this situation means we have to change the matrix for in that in the matrix section we can do like means we can give that sidecut container matrix, and we can give that resource of CPU, means how much CPU means it want to utilize, uh, like that way.
But I don't want to define it into the HPA. In that case,
Okay, so we don't want to touch HPA.
yeah.
So that would be one possible reason.
And when did Kubernetes provided that support at the HPA level where you can control at a container level of metric?
Come again.
When did this support came of providing a container level metric at HPA level of configuration?
It's like latest Kubernetes version means I think uh, like there's a latest Kubernetes version it will be provided. Like if you are using this latest Kubernetes version, so it will be
Which
provided. Version I think 1.26 something afterwards.
Mhm. Okay, what all ingress you have worked upon, or let's say what all ingress controllers you have worked upon?
By using this Nginx.
How is it better than other ingress controllers in the market?
Uh, I don't know means why it's better because basically it's already set up, and like we are work on it. Basically, I don't know means our this product owner or manager they think about it. So I don't know that much difference about it, but we are using this Nginx ingress controller.
Okay, let's say whenever you set up an Nginx ingress controller, right, there are some of the resources which get supplied before creating directly the ingress controller resources, right? Can you tell about that? What all does do we have in let's say we have admission webhooks, we have validating webhooks, right? Which comes in the complete resource manifest of applying that ingress controller in the system, right? What does they do?
For ingress basically first we have to like install this ingress controller. Okay, then we have to write this ingress file. So ingress file, there we give like the different routes. Okay, so if you have different microservices, so you have to put their different routes with your like domain. And
No,
this is
okay. That is a different part. That at a service level, you have to create separate ingresses where you define your backend rules, right?
hmm,
Asking about whenever you apply your ingress controller, right? There are some of the object files which comes along with that bundled with that ingress controller, right? So one would be either you run your ingress controller as a deployment or a daemon set, right? And then there would be a service object file which helps you to provision a load balancer behind the scene, right? But apart from this, there are multiple more object files which comes into the picture, which helps to set up or basically which integrates completely in that Kubernetes cluster, right? Because Kubernetes is cluster is not aware about that external additional resource or object of ingress controller which is coming into the system or into the picture, right?
okay, okay,
For
like
that, we have other object files as well: admission webhook, validating webhook configurations. What are those? What does they do?
mm, I don't know about it, this kind of things.
Okay, coming back to the previous question, we did ask about difference between stateful or stateless, right? What is that?
Stateful said basically, stateless, like if you are like doing this deployment file, means deployment.yml file, so this is come around like stateless.
No, I'm not asking in terms of Kubernetes. I'm just asking in a very generic layman language in terms of the respect that what is stateful or what is stateless.
Mm, stateless apps like are okay. mm, what I call like state. Mm, like stateful application like means which is like how we call like
No issues.
yeah, so
I was
statelet application means if you think like which is does not store any kind of like session, this kind of thing, which for stateless. And for stateful basically in like which is maintain the data, and or state means across the session, if you call it like means stateless, which is yeah.
what kind of data? What kind of session?
Session like means um, mm, what kind of data like mm,
No issues, Anubhav. Let's. Um, you have used Terraform, right?
yes, yes,
And have worked upon modules too.
yeah.
In what scenario will you use the count or for each count argument or a for each argument?
Yeah, count basically see means if you wanted to means in a one go, if you wanted to spin up like two means more than one EC2 instance, so for that means in your resource tab we can use this count variable. Means in the resource tab, if you wanted to use this count equal to 3, and you give your AMI and like instance type, so in a one go, so it will spin up your 3 instances at a time. And
And
for
what for each?
for each yeah, for each, like if you see, if you wanted to like different environment, like for dev, q and pod environment, so inside this for each you can use like for like dev environment I want like t3 instance. For qa environment I want like t3 small or micro. For that reason you can use this for each loop. And you can
Can
call
you
this
can you write that?
yeah,
Write that.
yes, yes. For okay, so if user step I wanted to like write this for each if so and if you wanted to call this these things, so that for in instance type we can call by this each dot value. Yeah, for like that means we can like call this for each loop, maybe some keyword mismatch, but like that way you can use.
Hmm. Let's say I have a scenario where my application was running in a production, right? And somehow my DB got failed, right? Or RDS has stopped working for my main production live traffic, right? How would you, what would be your approach to resolve that situation?
Means basically our RDS is not working, it's not fetching the data. Hello.
My application API has stopped responding to the customer, and what I found is that my RDS has stopped. Because of that, my APIs are getting failed. How would you resolve that situation, or how would you react in that scenario?
RDS is not working. mm, okay, so means backup also not there for RDS. We have like a restored mechanism, so this is also not available, so we can backup from there like in RDS. uh,
Definitely. Let's say we have a snapshot available, but let's say assure your customers, right? To assure your customers who are using your website, what would be your quick action to, let's say, to assure that okay, there is some fault or what you are working on, or how would you gonna resolve that? That is something, the approach which I want to ask.
okay, so first immediately I will check means if we should like acknowledge this alert. Okay, then means I will check like from CloudWatch, and if you have like Grafana, okay, so there I can check, I quickly like validate like whatever like issues happen in RDS, so we can check in that logs and all. And also you can check this endpoint that this by telnet command you can use this like RDS endpoint, and the port number I can check like connectivity.
It can work. I think I'm good from my end.
Yeah.
If you have any questions to ask,
Yeah, no, no.
would be happy to answer. Great. Thanks. Thanks.